Hello, this is Mr. Bacon Bits, and welcome back to Pumpkin Jack. I'm covering all the achievements and collectibles in the game, though really the collectibles is the main meat of this video, since the achievements are mostly straightforward and self-explanatory. The grand majority of the achievements are related to level progress, and all 6 levels have at least 3 achievements each. I'll show each of them briefly here. That's 13 achievements already just for beating the game. The rest are related to the collectibles. Prying Eyes is obtained by getting your first crow skull. There's 7 achievements altogether for obtaining all the crow skulls. Two achievements for finding all the gramophones as well. Finally, the crow skulls are used to buy alternate outfits for Jack, and can be done either at the title screen or at certain spots in each level. There are 2 achievements for getting all the outfits. If you've got all of these, the final one, Official Groupie, should be yours. Very straightforward. But now onto the collectibles themselves, and to add to this, I'm playing on the Christmas update. This update added a new costume that lets it snow during levels, and there's 5 presents to be found in every level. Finding all 5 presents in a level reveals a letter from Jack to Santa, which are kind of fun to read. Let's begin. The first Christmas present can be found behind hay bales near where you first encounter the owl. The first 2 crow skulls can be found in the area where you're taught the double jump. Past the double jump tutorial are rotating platforms. The 3rd skull is by one of these. Once you reach swinging logs for the first time, look right from the path to find the 2nd present and the 4th skull. Right after getting your crow friend, there's a path off to the left where you have to knock down a bridge to cross the river. Down this alternate path lies the gramophone for this level. The 5th and 6th skulls are found right near where you pick up the shovel. Just take a look around. There's a wooden tower to cross up ahead. Make sure to get up to the very top of it to find the 7th skull. Just up ahead are a wave of enemies that need to be defeated for the 8th skull to appear. There's also the 3rd present. The 9th skull is further up ahead. Also need to defeat all the enemies nearby. The 10th skull is to the right of the next checkpoint up ahead. Jump across the spinning platform section ahead, but make sure you climb the tower at the end before jumping down to get the 11th skull. Then jump down and look right. The 12th skull is behind rocks. The 4th present is on the opposite side of the field from where you are. Grab it, then head up the hill to find the 13th skull. Inside the barn, there's a path behind the first checkpoint that leads to the upper floor. The 14th skull is up there. In the room where you first encounter rats, the 15th skull is there. The 16th skull is in the very next room. Just take a right and jump over the crates. At the room where you see a cracked wooden door, the final present can be found in a corner.
Dear Santa, Merry Christmas, fat man. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm dead these days. My antics with the devil have resulted in me being stuck here as a wayward spirit for all eternity. I won't bore you with the details of how I'm writing you a letter right now. I've got a proposition for you. This year, I've been dead. I haven't been able to pull any pranks, scam any old ladies, or pickpocket any drunks on the way out of the tavern. In short, I haven't been bad, so I must have been good. In exchange for my lack of bad deeds, I ask for one simple thing from you. Give me a body! Yours sincerely, Stingy Jack. P.S. There will be no milk and cookies for you this year. As we've already established, I'm dead.
Right after breaking the wooden door, you can find the 17th skull in a corner. Climb up from here and you can find the 18th skull on the upper level of the previous room. The 19th skull can be found during the escape sequence. The final skull can be found after the escape sequence. Just look left after climbing up, it's behind the wooden structure. The first present can be found left of the mine tracks near the start. Follow the path without climbing up to also find the first skull crow. Crow skull. Got that backwards. Reach the first checkpoint, then turn around to find the second skull. Once you reach the first large enemy encounter, defeat them all to be able to grab the third skull nearby. Climb the wall up ahead, then make sure to hop onto the top of the roof before proceeding to get the fourth skull. After the first minecart ride, defeat the upcoming wave of enemies for the fifth skull. Continue climbing up to get to the other side of the wall. You'll find the sixth skull inside a tower up ahead. The seventh skull is locked behind some ghost enemies you have to... kill? Don't forget the second present in the same area before you start to climb up. You'll see the 8th and 9th skulls as you continue climbing. While climbing the tower ahead, the 10th skull is on the very top. After reaching the checkpoint and defeating the enemies, look to the right to find an alternate path. At the end of that path is the level's gramophone. Jumping along while dodging explosive minecarts, keep an eye below your feet to find the 11th skull below you. The 12th skull is on the roof of one of the shacks just ahead. Just take a look to the left after picking it up to spot the 3rd present. Finally, at the other side, the 13th skull is on top of a wooden structure just past the checkpoint. After the minecart ride, the 14th skull is behind some shelves right next to the checkpoint. The 15th skull is guarded by a large group of enemies up ahead. The 4th present is also right next to said skull. While climbing the big tower ahead after talking to the boss of this level, you can get the 16th skull after defeating the nearby ghost enemies. Be careful you don't whack the candles and cause a fire, though. After walking across the narrow beams, you might see the 17th skull ahead. Just climb the tower to get it instead of proceeding forward. The 18th skull is also in sight as you proceed. It's below the ledge you need to jump across to. After the second Jackhead segment, the last 2 skulls can be found in the same area. One of them requires defeating all the enemies first. The final present can be found behind a wooden structure after climbing up from the last 2 skulls. You'll likely see the glow.
Dear Senor Ho-Ho-Ho, it's been 5 years since my last letter to you, and I am still currently dead. This wouldn't be a problem if someone was nice enough to give me a body so I could not be a lost soul wandering the earth! Hint, hint! If you're having trouble finding me, just plant the body under the big pine tree in the forest. I'm currently haunting the bejeebies out of a family of squirrels there. When in Rome, yours relentlessly, Stingy Jack.
The first skull can be found on the right after reaching the swinging logs. The second skull is found by defeating your first group of enemies. Don't forget to grab the first present behind the carriage. It's easy to miss. Once you see rotating platforms, climb to the top of the tower to find the 3rd skull. After those platforms, defeat the next group of enemies for the 4th skull on the wooden structure to the left. Looking across the other side, you can see the 5th skull in the distance. Jump across the boats to reach it. The 6th skull is the reward for the next enemy horde. Then the 7th one is just a bit further ahead. The second present can be found below you as you climb the ghostly platforms. The 8th skull is up ahead on a ghostly platform near the next checkpoint. Climb up to it. The 9th skull is with the next enemy encounter. The 3rd present is right after knocking down a ghostly bridge afterwards. At the first mushroom area, head past the first stump of mushrooms and you might see the 10th skull on an island up ahead. While bouncing along mushrooms, you can find the 11th skull on a platform to the left. Take a detour to grab it. After the first horse ride, the 12th skull is rewarded for clearing the upcoming enemy encounter. Bounce across the mushrooms that spawned as well. You'll see the 13th skull on top of the tower up ahead. You know what to do. There's another tower to climb before crossing thin planks. Just climb to the very top to get the 14th skull. After jumping across 3 mushrooms up ahead and landing on this wooden platform, look behind you and down to see a mushroom stump. Jump across the mushrooms that spawn to find this level's gramophone. Up ahead on the main path, the 15th skull comes up after defeating the rat hordes. Bouncing along past swinging logs, after jumping down to another swinging log, immediately turn around to find the 16th skull. Right after the next horse ride, head right to find the 4th present next to a cliff. Eventually, you'll get to an enemy horde on some ghostly platforms. There are 2 crow skulls here, one of them requiring the enemies to be defeated. The 19th skull is found past a shipwreck over here. The final skull can be found within the Crow Forest, in an area with a fountain and enemies. You'll just need to fight the enemies. You'll come across 2 mushroom stumps. Take the left one and jump up to the wooden structure to find the final present.
Hey, Beardy McGee, what's the deal? Are your hands broken? Are all the elves on strike, you capitalist pig? I miss my body, hands, feet, a face! Other amenities that make life worth no longer living. If it makes it any easier on you, you don't have to include a nose. I hated mine in life. It was too crooked. Anyway, I digress. Fact of the matter is, make with a body, and I don't start haunting the reindeer. Yours hatefully, Stingy Jack.
Once you get to the area where you have to find 4 wooden planks to proceed, you can find the first 2 presents and 3 crow skulls here. Just explore before proceeding. Once you've found the planks and are able to get onto the wall, defeat the soldier enemies for the 4th skull. After climbing up a bit and coming across 2 snipers, the 5th skull can be found on the wooden structure to your left. Take cover! Jump across to the next wall, but you'll see the 6th skull on the right side. Go ahead and grab that before going left. There's also this Levels gramophone there. 2 for 1 special. You'll get a camera flyby of a spot where you have to push a minecart while avoiding a powerful sniper. The 7th skull can be found up in one of the small towers here. After destroying the big sniper, you can find the 3rd present on the right side of the giant stone tower. The 8th skull is also on the dock nearby. The 9th skull is found in the air if you keep climbing the stone tower past the hanging platforms. The 10th skull is on a wooden platform to your right next to spinning arrow traps. After the first race, you can find the 11th skull on a platform to the left at the checkpoint. Drop down from here and look right to find a dock with a 12th skull at the end of it. The 13th skull can be found as soon as you start the boat ride section. After the boat ride, you can find the 14th skull up the burning tower to the right. The next 2 skulls can also be found nearby. Defeat the enemies for the first one, and then another can be found on top of a wooden structure to the right. Don't forget to go around the left side of the big stone tower before climbing it for the fourth present. Once you get to the next minecart you can push, you can find the 17th skull nearby. You can likely see it as you approach. Once you get to the next checkpoint, check around the back of the wooden tower to the right to find the 18th skull. At the last minecart pushing section, there's also a horde of enemies trying to stop you. Defeat them all to make the 19th skull available. There's a spot where there's a ton of rats to exterminate. At the end, you'll find the last skull and the last present.
Dear Captain Cholesterol, body, now! Yours ruefully, Stingy Jack. P.S. Not that it matters, but preferably right-handed.
As you start, immediately turn around to find the first present. Once you reach the Gravekeeper, you can go right or left. On the right side, you can find 4 crow skulls and the second present. One of the skulls requires defeating all the annoying ghost enemies that turn invisible when they get right up on you. Over on the left, you can find 2 skulls. One's behind a tree. After passing the Gravekeeper, on one of the islands with a tower, you can find the 7th skull behind some crates. After climbing the tower and jumping across, the 8th skull is behind another set of crates. After fighting your first gargoyle, up ahead you can find the 9th skull on top of the roof of a bridge. After being taken for a ride by a gargoyle and fighting it, the 10th skull will spawn on top of one of the stone structures. The third present can be found in a corner to the left, near where the crow mentions he hates gargoyles. A lot. After meeting the Gravekeeper again, go through the gate to the right and then head down into the crypt to find the 11th skull. Up ahead, after the gravestone smashing segment, there's some narrow planks you'll have to walk along. The 12th skull is extremely hard to miss here. After crossing said planks, go around the cliff on the outside of the island to see the 13th skull. Defeat the next gargoyle, then head to the next enemy encounter and defeat them all to get the 14th skull. Then, look down before crossing the bridge to see a platform below with the 15th skull. Once you see a log you have to walk across, go left instead of right to find the 16th skull. After crossing the logs and back onto solid ground, there's a present on the right side and a crow skull on the left behind the crypt. Step inside the cathedral in the center to find the 18th skull. The 19th skull is found while climbing the cathedral. The final present is found behind a crypt between two pathways on the right, while facing the cathedral.
Dear Satan Claus, I just want a body. I miss being alive. I don't care about the afterlife, up or down. It makes no difference to me anymore. I just want a body. I'll do anything for a body. I am not begging you, but I'll do whatever must be done for me to get a body. No questions asked, no judgment, nothing. Just give me a body! Yours, Stingy Jack. P.S. Whoever's delivering these letters, I'm writing Satan Claus as a joke. Please do not redirect this letter to the devil. I've got nothing to say to that blowhard.
Finally, there's a path where you'll have to destroy the Statue of Greed and have to deposit crow skulls to advance. At the part with 3 altars, head left to find the last crow skull on a pillar. On the same greed area, heading right from the 3 altars gets you the level's gramophone. Almost forgot about this one. Fight the first snowman you encounter to find the first skull. The first present is on the right as well. Two skulls can be found off to the right, one up high and one below, requiring a small horde of enemies to be defeated. At the next checkpoint, jump to the island on the right and go along the hanging platforms to find the fourth skull. Cross the magic bridge, then find the fifth skull to the right of some evil snowman. You'll have to cross some patches of ice to reach it. Next, you'll have to climb up a tower to proceed. The sixth skull can be found at the very top if you keep climbing. Backed jumping across floating pieces of land, defeat the hordes of enemies to be able to grab the seventh skull on the final island. Turn back and look down to find the eighth skull below. Once you make your way into town, head right for a present behind the house, and then left for the ninth skull atop ice on the pond. Cross the river, then head right to find the 10th skull next to a house. Blow up the wall, then fight off all the enemies to be able to get the 11th skull next to Santa's workshop. After blowing up the workshop, business as usual, find the next group of enemies for the 12th skull. The next present is also in the same area. The 13th skull as well. It's across some ice near the 12th skull. Jump across to the island and defeat all the enemies for the 14th skull. Lots of enemy wave skulls in this level. To the right on the same island, there's some ice patches leading to the 15th skull. Once at the magic bridge puzzle, go to the island with the projectile shooting skulls, and get to the end of it for this level's gramophone. In the same puzzle area, find a way to the tall wooden tower and climb it for the 16th skull. Ride the boat, and once you see an explosive minecart to push, look to the right of it for a present. It's very, very sneaky. Once you see a portal, do not go through it. Instead, look for a way to get to the center of the lake, as there's the 17th skull waiting there. After going through the portal, climb the first tower you see in order to grab the 18th skull. After ziplining to the next town, look to the right to find the 19th skull next to a house in the middle of the lake. Before going up to jump across the hanging platforms, the final present can be found behind the house on the right.
Hey, you fat oaf. Looks like you're not the only one who's in the business of giving gifts. I got me a brand new body and a whole lot of repressed rage to work out. I know I'm not a ghost anymore, but consider yourself my unfinished business. All the best, the great Jack.
So now that we know why Jack has a grudge against Santa, blow up the second Santa's workshop, pass the ruins, and look right immediately for the absolutely final skull in the game. That should be absolutely every single collectible in the entire game, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe, happy, and healthy, and I will see you guys later.